In the quaint town of Blackwood, nestled deep within the forest, stood an ancient mansion known as Blackwood Manor. The mansion had a dark history that spanned over 2 centuries, and the locals whispered tales of the eerie occurrences that took place within its walls. No one dared to enter, for fear of the malevolent spirits that were said to haunt the manor. One autumn, a group of college friends, intrigued by the legends of Blackwood Manor, decided to investigate. The group consisted of Emily, a history major fascinated by the mansion's past, Jake, an aspiring filmmaker looking to document their adventure, Lisa, a skeptic who didn't believe in ghosts, and Mark, a thrill-seeker who loved a good scare. They arrived at the mansion just as the sun began to set, casting long, ominous shadows across the grounds. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, and the once grandiose mansion now stood as a decaying relic of the past. The friends felt a sense of foreboding as they crossed the threshold, the old wooden doors creaking loudly behind them. Inside, the mansion was a labyrinth of dark hallways and dusty rooms, each filled with antique furniture and remnants of a bygone era. As they explored, they noticed strange symbols etched into the walls, which Emily identified as ancient protective runes. She speculated that these runes were meant to contain something within the mansion, but what, she couldn't say. As night fell, the group set up their equipment in the grand ballroom, where they planned to spend the night. Jake positioned his camera to capture any paranormal activity, while Emily pored over old documents she had found in the library. Lisa and Mark, meanwhile, explored the upper floors, joking about the ghosts they didn't believe in. It wasn't long before strange things began to happen. The temperature in the ballroom dropped suddenly, and an eerie silence fell over the mansion. Jake's camera started to malfunction, capturing fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures moving in the background. Emily felt a cold hand brush against her arm, but when she turned, no one was there. Upstairs, Lisa and Mark heard faint whispers echoing through the halls. They followed the sound to a locked door at the end of a corridor. Curiosity got the better of them, and Mark managed to force the door open. Inside, they found a child's nursery, untouched by time. The room was filled with old toys, a crib, and a rocking chair that creaked slowly back and forth. As they investigated, the door slammed shut behind them. The temperature plummeted, and the whispers grew louder, filling the room with an overwhelming sense of dread. Lisa's skepticism began to waver as she felt an invisible force tug at her hair. Mark tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in as the shadows in the room seemed to come to life, swirling around them menacingly. Back in the ballroom, Emily and Jake heard their friend's screams and rushed upstairs. They found the door to the nursery locked, and despite their best efforts, they couldn't open it. Desperate, Emily recited one of the protective incantations she had found, and to their relief, the door flew open. Lisa and Mark stumbled out, pale and shaken. They all agreed to leave immediately, but as they made their way down the stairs, the mansion itself seemed to resist their departure. Doors slammed shut, trapping them inside, and the shadows grew more aggressive, blocking their path. In a final attempt to escape, Emily remembered the runes she had seen earlier. She led the group to a room where the runes were most concentrated and began to draw them on the floor, chanting the incantation she had read. The shadows recoiled, and the temperature began to rise. With renewed determination, the friends made their way to the front door. As they crossed the threshold, a deafening scream echoed through the mansion, and the doors slammed shut behind them. they didn't stop running until they were far from Blackwood Manor. Back in town, they vowed never to speak of that night again. They had escaped with their lives, but the experience left them scarred, haunted by the memories of the whispering shadows. Blackwood Manor stood silent once more, waiting for the next curious souls to fall into its trap. The town of Blackwood continued to whisper its tales, warning all who would listen to stay away from the cursed mansion. And so, the legend of Blackwood Manor lived on, a chilling reminder that some places are better left undisturbed, for the shadows that lurk within are ever watchful, and they are always hungry. This story can be expanded further with more details, character development, and additional eerie events to make it even longer and more immersive. Let me know if you would like to continue or if there's a specific direction you'd like the story to take.